Welcome back to the channel, y'all. This one is called The Mother Who Should Have Left. You know, a lot of the times they say mom had it hard because dad left and the pressures fell on mom and she cracked under the pressure. So even though she stayed, she treated the kids so badly because she resented the father's leaving that in the end grand scheme of things, she caused more damage to the kids because she was the one that stayed to damage them. That's deep. And that's something that I don't think we talk about enough. So because you stay doesn't mean you did good. It's like having that one friend around you for years. And every business idea you come up with, every good plan you came up with for your life, you pass it to your friend. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And your friend always instilled doubt and fear in you instead of encouraging you. Sooner or later down the line, you get rid of this friend and you start to thrive because there is no doubt, there is no fear. You just get to it and get it done. And then you realize that having that friend around was comfortable, but that friend was an obstacle. Same thing for having a mom or dad, a parent around that stayed while the other one abandoned. Yes, the one that abandoned is supposed to be blamed as well, but the one that stayed, you got to make sure when you stay, you actually really stay and make up for that missing link. If not, if you're only staying and causing damage, please understand you're causing damage on top of damage, especially where children are concerned, because every child is already hurt once one person, one parent is missing. And an adult would understand this and try to compensate for that missing person. But that imbalance. But if you add hurt on top of them having to deal with one parent already missing, then it's best that you were not there as well. This story right here, a judge on Tuesday sentenced a mother to 50 years in prison for forcing 3 of her children to live with the decomposing body of their dead 8-year-old brother for more than a year in a soiled, roach-infested, nasty apartment in Houston, Texas. Gloria Williams is her name, and she's only 38 years old. She expressed deep regrets before she was being sentenced. Now, expressing deep regrets now, kind of too late. I think she only regretted the fact that she couldn't put things together better and she got caught in the condition that she got caught in. She was sentenced, and her sentence came after she had pleaded guilty in October to 2 counts of injury to a child for abuse that involved 8-year-old Kendrick Lee, who was beaten to death by her boyfriend, and another child, the newspaper reported. That's crazy, but it happens a lot. I've seen many cases where, mama's boyfriend is that man that mama don't want to let go of, because mama got multiple kids already by multiple men, and it's hard for mama to find a man who is going to truly stay down for her, want to do life with her, want to build a future with her, because she's already given her womb to multiple men already. I don't care what they tell you. There's no man out here looking for a woman who already has multiple children by multiple men. She must come with special qualities for a man to be able to say, I want her, regardless of how many children she has. And I'm not talking about no regular man. Anybody out here, all of these women can get a man. But can you get a good man, a genuine man, who's going to understand that your children's fathers are missing, and he's going to step into that role wholeheartedly and love those children like they were his own children, not harm them, not talk down to them, not disrespect you in front of them. He's going to build your family up. It's hard. You could get a man, but you'll get a man who might molest your children. You might get a man who actually takes the life of one of your kids or take your life in front of your kids, which we've seen happen many times over. This particular case, when authorities discovered the body of the little boy in October of 2021, Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said that many officers indicated that it was the worst, most disturbing scene that they had ever worked on in their career, and that it seemed too horrific to be real. One officer said this looked like a horror story staged for a movie, because no way this can be real, but it was. Lee's 3 abandoned brothers had been living alone for months, and they were super thin in body structure, very malnourished and hungry when authorities found them in an unfurnished Harris County apartment that was infested with flies and roaches and maggots, and had feces and urine and spoiled food all over the carpets. Authorities said that the children had waited for Williams to call authorities to report that their brother had been beaten to death by her boyfriend. The children were waiting for the mother to do the right thing, to call the authorities, to get this squared away, cleaned up, and get their lives back together, because that's what children do. They depend on their parents. Wow. The children wanted the mother to tell the police that her boyfriend did it. Investigators says that the mother never made that phone call, and the oldest surviving sibling, who was then 15 years old, finally was overcome by his own fears, ended up calling the authorities. Because mama was never going to call the police and tell the police on her man. No, not her man that she is so in love with. Not her man that gives her the good D. Not her man that gives her a hug when she need it in the arms of a man, because she can't find another man. Yeah, the 2 other siblings were 7 and 10 years old when they were found by authorities. If it wasn't for the 15-year-old, they would still be living there with their brother's corpse. Now you gotta understand the stench that must have been in this apartment. There is a decomposing body here. There's urine and feces and flies and maggots and stuff that, like the officer said, this is the stuff that's out of horror movies. And he actually thought it looked like somebody staged it to shoot a horror movie scene, but it's real life. Williams, the mother, she was sentenced following nearly 2 days of hearing in court that focused on the extent of her role in the little boy's passing. Her defense attorney blamed Coulter for most of the abuse, blamed her boyfriend for most of the abuse. Her boyfriend, Coulter, he was sentenced in April to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the little boy's death. The sheriff's office had previously said that Coulter, her boyfriend, had consistently hit the younger children and had fatally beaten little Lee sometime around Thanksgiving in 2020. The law was familiar with him, that he had beaten the other children before. And she stayed with them, and she stayed with them, and she stayed with them, and he would beat on all of them, and she would stay because it wasn't bad enough until it got really bad, until one of them was no longer here. And now here she was, hiding that from the authorities. A few months after the fatal beating, Williams, the mother, and Coulter, her boyfriend, they actually moved out and went to live in another apartment that's 25 minutes away, leaving the 3 surviving siblings to fend for themselves as their brother's body slowly decomposed. Tell me this ain't crazy. Her boyfriend took the life of her child. She left the child in the apartment along with the siblings and went across town, 25 minutes drive across town. Got a new apartment with her man. Left a 15-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 10-year-old on their own. Fend for yourselves. Damn. Williams, the mother, she had relinquished her parental rights over her children after she got arrested. The two younger siblings have since been adopted by a good family, while the eldest one is with a foster family. Latest information in the newspaper. These children are traumatized. I hope whatever foster family gets them, that foster family actually cares about them enough to understand that. Because, you know, a lot of the times children go through stuff and then they end up in the foster care. I call the foster care system like a puppy pound. Everybody goes to the puppy pound. They see the cute little puppy or the big cute dog, and they're like, I want that one. But that dog has been through a lot. The previous owner abused it. The previous owner used to have the dog sleep outside in all kinds of weather, didn't feed the dog properly, would kick the dog, anger the dog. So the dog might have behavioral issues, like the dog might snap. The dog might bite when the dog ain't supposed to bite. These kind of things. Same thing for children. So when people go in to adopt these children, people look at them like a polished child. And you're supposed to be a child with no issues. And sometimes the system hides their backstory. So the new family that's adopting them, they don't know if this child has been abused, molested, beaten. You know, they don't know if this child has like all kinds of ill tendencies because of what they've been through. They think they're taking home this beautiful child and they're going to raise him perfectly and give him a good life. And then they start to see the behavioral issues unfold. And instead of like giving or sending them to therapy or providing them with the necessary help they need to process through, they throw them out to the streets, or they throw their hands in the air and give up and say, hey, this is too much. We don't want this. Send them back to the facility. So the two younger siblings, 7 and 10, they have been adopted. No telling if they were adopted by the same family. All it says is that they have been adopted by a good family. So I'm guessing somebody decided to keep them together and adopt them together. But the eldest one, who of course is 15, nobody really wants to try with a 15-year-old. I mean, in 3 years, you'll be an adult. In 2 years and change, you'll be an adult, right? And it's rough at that age. People kind of look at late teens in the adoption system as damaged goods, as, you know, too much water under that bridge, too many issues built up. This is not a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old that we can get some therapy and work through it, and then by the time he hits 14, 15, he'll probably be a changed kid. At 15, they look at you like, whatever he is now at 15, he's probably going to be that at 18. So we not touching that with a long stick. But he, the eldest, is with a foster family, and that's the latest update. The mother herself, though, she was sentenced to 50 years in prison for forcing her 3 children to live with the decomposing body of their dead 8-year-old brother for more than a year. This woman went across town, 25 minutes drive from where she left these children, and got her a new apartment and lived in that new apartment with the same man that took the life of her 8-year-old child. I want y'all to think about this, and left the decomposing body of that 8-year-old child with the other 2 siblings and just said, bye, you on your own. I'm moving on with life. And they actually lived together for over a year before the police came. And that little 15-year-old boy, he was 14 at the time, 15 at the time when he called the police, 14 at the time his sibling passed. That little boy was so loyal to his mother, he didn't want his mother getting in trouble and thought his mom would do the right thing, so he actually stuck it out for over a year. Now, of course, it begs the question, who was paying the rent? Where was the landlord? You know, didn't anybody realize that there was 3 children living? How did school go? Because, in the United States of America, if you're missing from school, they're going to call home. And then if too many calls for missing child comes up, because your child's not going to school and they are of school age, and there's nothing in the system that says they're being homeschooled, they're going to send CPS, Child Protective Services, out to that address for the children. So how did it slip by for over a year while a little boy's body decomposed? I can't imagine the scent. I can't even imagine the horrors of the sight of seeing your 8-year-old brother decomposing while your new birthday is coming up. Wow. I said it before, man, and I'll say it again. Sometimes the parent that stayed should have left also, because a lot of the times they stay and they cause more damage than the parent who actually left in the beginning. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one, and I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.